The familiar thing was just like having relationships with white folks, talking about racism, white supremacy, and then realizing that something's not happening, something's not clicking, something's not working. I think it was just seeing someone who seems to be trying to work on these issues, but also not seeing them, and seeing that in white person after white person after white person. So that's what was familiar. And also the silence, like this lack of really being bothered, like being profoundly bothered about this issue, and being able to talk about it so calmly. You know, and then realizing that I must have internalized that because that's how I talk about these issues. Sometimes I feel like there's a prevention going on. There's like some type of, I don't know what's happening, but it's just, I never really feel like there's a deep connection in which these issues are taken incredibly seriously. And I think that's the familiarity, that continual devaluing of the power of racism and the importance of ending racism and really dealing with it, you know.
Thank you for explaining more. Sometimes your language sounds like, I can't tell whether you're talking about you and your experience or if you're talking about me. Mm-hmm. You know, when people use I language, sometimes, like, I don't know if you're talking about your experience or if you're generalizing to other people. So, can you just be direct with me and just say, I think you or you, whatever? I mean, if that's comfortable for you.
Questions like that are what makes me uncomfortable. That you can't see that there might actually be a reason as to why. You know,
I see the reason, but I don't want to be,
Yeah.
I don't want to assume something about you because I've heard it from other people.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, I want to hear it from you, what your experience has been. Your personal experience, not you talking for a group of people.
Yeah, but see, I don't trust why you want to hear that experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, to me, to be honest with you, just to start off with, I don't trust you for some reason.
Sure.
Probably has something to do with you being white. But it's not just that, because I've learned, you know, to really look at white people for where they're at. You know, what work they've done, what they're saying. I've trained myself to really look at what people say. And every single word choice, it lets me know exactly where they're at. You know, so like, through this process, like, you know, I don't trust you. You know, I don't trust you as a white person. Because I don't feel that deeper connection. It's not just race, but especially on a racial level, I don't feel that. You know, and that may be for other reasons as well, other identity issues, as like gender issues or class issues even. You know, but just speaking on the race, I don't feel that. I feel like we're still up here, and I feel like you're like kind of you're like interrogating me in a way in which, like, I'm not being as clear as you want me to be versus why am I not being clear to you? You know? You're kind of like, oh, you're not being clear, instead of like, okay, why are you not being clear? That's where I start to lose you on that deeper level. I get back up here to this conceptual conversation about each of our intentions in this conversation.
Good, so
And that's where I've been too.
therein is the key, isn't it? Asking him, in what ways am I not connecting? So you still have time.
Yeah. What you say resonates with me because you said that you don't trust me because I'm on this level up here and it doesn't feel like it's down here. I feel myself being up here and not down here because I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if I can trust you because I just met you yesterday.
All right.
But
There we go.
I trust you to talk about certain surface issues, and I trust.
So you
this
see how
space.
so take a breath.
Yeah.
The one part he nodded, which might even be the part you wouldn't have expected him to nod, which was, you said, I don't even know if I trust you.
Oh yeah.
So just look back, let go of the smile for a moment. That was the part he even smiled and nodded.
Yeah, because I already knew that, you know.
Oh sure.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, that was obvious. You know, that's what, like, Jonathan would talk, kind of, I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, saying, like,
So I want you to stay just with her for a moment.
Yeah, but it was just, like, I just want to, like, emphasize, like, why that's such an issue between us.
Absolutely.
And not just in, like, in a lot of different ways, but, like, that's obvious, you know. Of course you don't trust me, you know what I mean? It could be from, like, if you didn't meet me, oh, man, I'm black, all these other things, you don't know me very well.
Right.
But it's, like, getting to that point, then we can finally start to have other conversations in a way in which we're both, like, you know, really looking at each other, you know, so, yeah.
Interesting statement, isn't it? You know, as a family therapist, to have some, you know, at the end, the husband and wife look at each other, or the partners look at each other and go, you know, I never liked you. They'll say, well, I never liked you either. I always had a hard time when you, and then finally they tell the truth, and both are relieved because they lived a long life of deception. So I want you to notice when he says, thank you, in many ways. That's what I felt. So we kind of put it onto the other person, like, what's going on with you? But in fact, they're picking up something, which drives you crazy, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Notice how much more connected he is when you tell him, I don't feel connected, I don't trust you. Oh, right. He opened up. And we have not been taught this, have we? No. That to say, I don't trust you, I don't feel good about you being a black man. He didn't pull away when he said that. He actually looked right at you. And then what else did he follow it up with? Now we can do what?
Talk.
Now we can talk. We have no model of that in this country, that doing this allows you to talk. What did it feel like for you to hear that from him?
Right, I expect not to trust a person right away. So when you said you didn't trust me, that didn't surprise me at all. It felt refreshing. It's like that thing that you don't know how to say, and until it's said, you're like, that's the thing. Because I think there's so many different things that we could be saying to each other, but we do the surface thing or the intellectual thing. Because it's safer in some ways. It doesn't hurt as bad.
And then when she says to you, Will, you're right, I went right to my head. Tell her how you felt about when she said that.
Yeah, like I said before, it was kind of just like, oh yeah, I kind of already knew that. So it felt like, all right, so now we're actually paying attention to each other and what each of us are saying, instead of this like intellectual game we're playing back and forth.
I'm starting to trust you now because when I told you some of my truth, you didn't react negatively and hurt me. Like, I expect people to hurt me when I tell the truth, in any situation.
So see how this comes up for her. Do you see that too, Will? If I tell the truth, they're going to hurt me. When I tell the truth, you're going to deny it. You're going to go in your head.
Yeah. You're going to use it against me.
So both of you have something that was going on, huh?
Yeah. It's hard to trust when you've been hurt, right?
Yeah.
Good. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? Because each of you will have all these other ghosts and people in the room that you'll have to acknowledge is happening. That way he doesn't go crazy when he says, I couldn't feel you. And then she doesn't go crazy because she was being scared that you might hurt her. So she goes to a safe place. Yeah. That's what happens when we don't talk. We carry these preconceptions that something's going to happen to me. And we each protect ourselves. What you both have in common is that you've both been hurt. You both have been invalidated. You both have been made in many ways to think it's maybe your problem, not theirs. And that's the bridge. But this is the hard work, but we stayed with it. There's a lot more conversation to go here, isn't there? Yeah.
I got, they were both afraid of what the other person would do if they opened up. I talk with my granddad a lot, and he says that fear leads to like self-preservation. You kind of hold back and you put up a block. That was good to know that somebody else was actually, scared too. So you got to get through the hurt together.
And to talk about your hurt together,
yeah.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I'm proud of both of you because you finally said that you both didn't trust each other and that the fact that that was okay. I never would have thought that that would happen.
I'm glad that I've learned, just through observing the two of you, that it's perfectly okay to express or to tell someone that I don't trust you. I mean, I have never told anyone that, especially a white person, that I don't trust you, face to face. Wanting to say it, it's very difficult. I guess I've been lying to myself to not say what I wanted to say from here, but to say it here only. And I've learned a lot from that, and I'm glad that you two were able to come together to acknowledging each other's fear of telling the truth, because I know that it exists and I'm one of them.
It may not necessarily always be that you're not doing it in just holding and blaming yourself. There's a lot that society does to make sure we don't have that conversation, that we might fall apart or we might all hate each other or or we'll all be screaming at each other, and so we have lots of models of people just screaming and yelling and hurting and throwing things and shooting at each other, and a whole long history of that. You're right, it's a self-preservation thing. How wonderful to be able to do it so you don't hurt yourself, huh? And what would it be like, as you so beautifully modeled, and each of you is, tell me more why you're scared of me, or why you don't trust me. That simple question, could open it up.
What I learned, and I want to thank you both for, is we've known for hundreds of years in this country that there are mass inequalities between black and white people. But until today, I did not realize how great that division ran, even to the most primitive level of the inability to trust. That's my issue. My issue is no different than Tyan's. That you had the courage to take the leap of faith, and that is something I appreciate very much.
That's quite something to echo in your ears. I just had no idea. We can be shielded from this so we don't have to hear how deep and how long this has been going on in this country. We'd love us all to be all one people, but the only way we're ever going to heal is if we actually talk about what's not working, and that could bring us together.
One thing that I'm reminded of in this conversation is how important it is to stay emotional and to stay personal and to be upfront with that. That's just one other thing I wanted to add.
So I want you to understand also in the context, her being Italian, being emotional, to actually see that it's actually valuable, to see that it actually works, and being real. Thank you.
I'm happy that I got to ride the car here with you. I feel like I'm not alone. I just share the same things with you. It brings me closer, and it's nice.
At first, I didn't know what to take of you two. I wasn't really sure. It wasn't coming out clearly. And then I started reflecting on myself. I was like, it's just so easy to say it, but there's a journey and there's a process that goes with it. So I was really glad to observe that, and I'm really proud that you were able to say in the end, I don't trust you. That is such a hard thing to say, because the moment you say that, there's like a judgment or label that you're taking it personally and something's wrong with you. And it's a risk. And I'm glad you're able to say it so everyone else can see that, and you're not dead. You're still here. The challenge I have is, how do I say it to somebody that I have just met? That is the hard part.
So maybe in truth, the two of you saying it gave us the courage to say it. That it doesn't destroy both of you, but when you both come from a place of curiosity to want to know more. Because I strongly believe if we hadn't dealt with this tonight, it would have been the elephant in the middle of the room. It would have been the wound that we're most afraid about. And it's how we will listen, and be there. That will be the change that we're looking for. It's not just talking about race. It's sharing our feelings and our journeys and believing each other without defending, without attacking, without leaving. And each of you played a part by staying here in the room